There's no reason to become alarmed, and we hope you'll enjoy the rest of your flight. By the way, is there anyone on board who knows how to fly a plane?
The views and opinions expressed on the Avoiding Real Estate Turbulence podcast are strictly those of the hosts and their guests, and do not reflect the opinions of Century 21 Town & Country, Ross Mortgage, or any of their affiliates.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Avoiding Real Estate Turbulence podcast. This is your pilot, John Lafferty, with Century 21 Town & Country.
And co-pilot, Tony Abate with Ross Mortgage, and we are your real estate pilots. Our job is to be your real estate advocate and also make sure you're educated about the buying and selling process. We'll keep you informed throughout until we get you safely closed.
Today's episode is sponsored by the Dumnick School of Basketball. Come to the Dumnick School to learn such skills as the art of trick shots, fancy passing, the ear catch, and the hard-to-stop toe pass. With your new skills, you'll be just dangerous enough on the court to ensure you'll never touch the ball in a pickup game. When you want your basketball career to come crashing down, think Dumnick.
Finally got a sponsor. We've been waiting for this, haven't we? Yeah. All right, in a real estate transaction, there are many reasons why you can encounter turbulence. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about interest rates because there's been some pretty substantial changes in what's going on in the market for sure. Yeah. So always a hot topic with buyers and sellers with what's going on, but we're entering into some unprecedented times right now. So to avoid triggering all the Regulation Z disclaimers and disclosures we have to go through, we won't get into very specific rate quotes. But my goodness, John, we're in the low 3% range for just plain old vanilla 30-year fixed rate loans. It's getting again to the point where we're almost at all-time lows. Yeah.
I mean, when's the last time we saw something like this? Mm-hmm. How far do we have to go back to see interest rates of low threes?
Yeah. You know, 4 years ago, we got pretty darn close. And then prior to that, you know, we were sitting in the recession when rates were at super lows. And there's a lot of things that are underpinning this, that are making this happen. But I think for our purposes, the important thing is that it's a tremendous win for buyers, of course, but it's a tremendous win for sellers too. You know, when sellers are entering the market, as you know, part of that question is, well, how many potential buyers can I expose this home to? And that exposure just got broader because now the affordability is more attractive, and folks that maybe wanted to keep their purchase price here can now go here and have the same kind of expense, the same monthly payment. So it's a good thing. You never know how long it's going to last, but for homeowners right now, it's and potential home buyers, it's really attractive.
Just out of curiosity, how much more buying power does a 1 point drop in interest rates give somebody in general, just in general terms? I mean, we don't have to get into specifics.
So 1 point. So do you mean from 4 1/4 down to 3 1/4?
Let's say 4 1/4 to 3 1/4.
Shoo-wee. So I'm really going to wing it here, John, but I'm going to say $70,000 to $80,000.
That's huge.
For the same payment. Yeah.
That's the difference between being able to buy in a community and not be able to buy in a community.
That's a good point. Yeah. Now that's a severe window from low 4s to low 3s, but we're there. It wasn't that long ago that we were talking to home buyers, and the 4% interest range was the conversation. So it's happening. Home buyers are benefiting from it right now, and home sellers hopefully too. Unfortunately, a lot of the things that are driving that are based on negative things that are happening in the economy. And the coronavirus is big news right now as well, and that's having a global economic impact too. So it's not a positive that it's happening because of that. And many economists are saying that this was going to happen anyway, and the coronavirus just sped things along. And that's a surprise for a lot of folks, because a lot of folks look at where the stock market was, and they say, well, everything is wonderful. Why would the interest rates be falling because of negative news? But there were, what I like to say, and I'm just mimicking a lot of economists, is that the stock market's not the economy, right? They're two different things. And there were a lot of indicators about average hourly work week, industry capacity, factory capacity that were down. And so these were things that are really kind of the foundation of the economy. And this is why the interest rates have been pointing in that downward direction. and then the concerns over the coronavirus and how that is going to affect global economies is just speeding that up.
What do you think? You think the coronavirus is overblown? Do you think everybody should be panicking as much as they should? As you know, I just came back from the Century 21 convention in Los Angeles, and it was interesting to me to see the number of people wearing those face masks to cover their nose and mouth, especially younger people. Now, older people, maybe people that have health issues, I get it. Even young children, I get it. But there were some pretty healthy-looking adults that were wearing these things, and just a thought going through my mind, what up? You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, perception's reality, isn't it? And this has been all over the media, needless to say, and not to say that it's completely unfounded. When you look at it from a statistical standpoint, there's been other outbreaks that have been, far more impactful. SARS, H1N1. I mean, all these things that are that have happened in the past where mathematically the numbers were worse. From a completely non-medical opinion, I think one of the things that is driving the concern is the fact that there just isn't a vaccine for it right now. Certainly there's the powers that be are working on that, but they're seeing outbreaks and there's not really a light at the end of the tunnel, if you will. But the fact is, and I forget who I was listening to last night, but they were saying, that just the regular flu in the United States is taking far more people than what they're seeing from this. But having said that, people are making decisions, and those decisions are affecting the economy. So people are going out less. Factories are saying we're not going to have workers congregate in the same place. That's what's happening.
Yeah. Flying out and flying back, I wasn't concerned about that at all. Now, when you're on a plane, you're in a closed environment. So somebody coughs, somebody sneezes, all that stuff's on the plane, and the inside of the cabin. But whenever I travel, my biggest concern is, am I going to have enough goddamn leg room in this plane seat? Which is never the case. They're charging you now. If you want an aisle seat, you got to pay for an aisle seat. Yeah. If you want to sit in the exit row, you got to pay extra to sit in that exit row. Sometimes $50, $60 to sit in that exit row. So going out, I'm fortunate. I was able to get a good seat. I was comfortable. I had enough leg room. Happy. Coming back, I had a layover in Dallas.
Okay.
So a fly out, I'm in an aisle seat. And it's tight. But at least I can put one leg out in the aisle, right. But I have to be conscious because people are coming by. I don't want to trip anybody. You got this big old honking leg out in the aisleway. I don't want. So, but it was okay. And then from Dallas back to Detroit, oh man, it was terrible. So you get that feeling. You're walking on the plane, you're in row 29. You're walking back, and then you're stopped because people are putting their luggage in the overhead bin, and you're waiting. And then what do? You start counting the rows. Okay, right. I'm at row 20. 1,
you
2,
look
3,
ahead.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, man, are you kidding me? I got to sit in the seat. There's somebody in the window. There's somebody in the middle, and there's my seat. And there's empty rows around it. And so I'm like, of course. My row is going to have 3 people. So, of course, I get to the row. There's still people coming behind me. So I'm figuring, okay, maybe there'll be an exit, an aisle seat that I can maybe snag and move over to. Because when I sit down next to these 2 guys, the guy in the middle is like, oh, shit, not this guy. Yeah. I'm a big guy. But my knees were, I couldn't even touch them.
Oh my gosh.
I had to sit like this, open leg, so one knee out in the aisle, the other one trying, but I'm jammed. Yeah. And it's totally uncomfortable. And so luckily I was able to move. The guy across says, "Hey, you can come sit in the window seat over here. Well, we got the middle seat in between us so you can spread out." I'm like, well, that's got to be better than this. Yeah. So I go sit in the window seat. No, man, it's less comfortable because of the way the plane comes down. So now I'm pinned. But fortunately, I was able to move to the next row in front. A woman was nice enough to sit in the window seat and allowed me to sit in the aisle seat. So I just like to say to the airlines, why do you discriminate against tall people? I just need to know why. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's not fair. I shouldn't have to pay extra because of the leg room I need.
That is true. Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Sorry.
sorry.
I didn't mean to get on a rant like that, but I get frustrated. Traveling is sometimes difficult. And the kicker was I had to check my carry-on bag.
Oh no.
Because I was they have these groups for this airline.
Yeah.
1 through 9.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in group 8. So 1 through 7 take up all the overhead bin space.
Oh, no.
So I have to check my carry-on bag. And I said, and this is in Los Angeles, and I said, now if I check it here, are you going to have it waiting for me when I get off the plane?
Yeah.
Nope.
Got to go down to the track, huh? Oh
No. They said, no, it's just going to get moved to the next plane, so you won't see it until Detroit.
Oh.
I said, you're kidding me. I don't get to put it back on the next plane.
Mm-hmm.
So I was pissed off about that, too. So all around, I blame my travel agent. Scott, it's your fault.
Let them have it. Yeah. Luckily, the next
Group
convention's
8.
out for.
I paid for an aisle seat. Why am I group 8? I'm sitting with all the other people who just said, give me whatever random seat you want. I don't care. Sit me wherever you want. So I'm uncomfortable. There's no way I'm sleeping on either of these flights coming back. And it's a long day. I leave Los Angeles at 10:30 in the morning. I don't get home to Detroit till 8:30 at night. It's been snowing out. Now I got to go get my car. And nobody said to me at the car place where I parked, you probably want to write down where it is just so you remember when you come back.
Oh no.
I had no idea. So when I got on there, the lady said, where's your car parked? And I said, is it on my ticket? Because they told me where to go. She said, honey, it ain't on there. You don't know where you parked your car? I said, no, I didn't write it down. She said, oh, sweetie, I'm going to have to take you around last. We're going to drop all these other people to their cars first, and then we'll look for your car.
Oh, my gosh.
So as we're driving around, dropping the other 8 people off, I said, you know what? I'm pretty sure because when we pulled in, I made a jog to the left. So what aisle is that? She said, well, that's aisle I. I said, that's where it is. It's in aisle I. So she's like, all right, honey. Well, we'll go to your car last after we drop everybody else off. So this guy's like, I'm in aisle B.
Oh, no.
Slow down, coming up. So he's flashing. He's like, oh, whoops, I'm wrong. I'm in aisle C. He's like, don't worry, honey, I'll swing. So 20 minutes later, I found my car. It was actually pretty easy to do that. But, and then I got home and, smartly I'd had the hardwood floors done while I was gone.
Okay.
So I wouldn't have to inhale all those fumes and the dust and everything, right? So you don't want to be around when your hardwood floors are being refinished. So I get home, 9:30, 9:45, and of course there's dust everywhere. And so, I just because I was tired and I just wanted to get to bed, I just threw down a plastic tarp on the floor, put the mattress on the plastic tarp, and just slept that way. Woke up the next day and, went to work. So
Right. That's like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles Part 2. Right? You're messing with the wrong guy. What an airport venture that was. My goodness. So, luckily, you've got a full year before the next convention, though. So.
Got a full year, but can my travel agent not book me in group 8 again, please? Can I get in group 4 or something sooner? Come on, Scott.
I think there's a train ride in your future, I have a feeling.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. But you came back armed with a lot of cool real estate stuff,
right,
from the convention. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, it was, there was a lot of breakout sessions. There's a lot of interesting information that they talked about. And, I found it very informational. Most of it is broker stuff and different things like that to help agents, to help managers, to help brokers. So, and owners. And so it was really good.
Good.
So it was a good time.
Yeah. Well,
Back to interest rates.
yes.
So you said that this could help sellers.
Mhm.
So explain to everybody why that could help sellers,
Sure.
lower interest rates.
Sure. So when we'll look at both sides. So you want to sell your home, you want to put it on the market, and of course I'm speaking your language now, John, but the best way to get the highest price is to expose that home to the most potential buyers. One of the best ways, anyway. And from the buyer standpoint, two things are impacting that buyer. It's the qualifying, and it's also the goal of, where do I want my housing expense to be for a given home price. So as interest rates go down, there's just going to be a larger subset of potential buyers that can look at more expensive homes and still stay within their budget. So it's a little bit of a revelation. Folks that were looking a year ago and their interest rates were in the 4s at that point in time when they were doing the initial qualifying, what have you. If they're back in the market now, their price range has changed because now, that buyer who could not entertain looking at that seller's home can do so now. So it's not just a one-sided win. The sellers benefit. And then, of course, what else happens to sellers? Typically, they become a buyer too. So they're the beneficiary as a seller because their home is going to be exposed to a greater number of potential buyers. And then they benefit as a buyer too because they're going to be getting a mortgage at the time when the market is really, really low. So I'd love to say how long it's going to last. My crystal ball doesn't get quite that clear, but we know what they are right now, and they're very, very attractive.
Have you seen an uptick in refis?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, a lot of refinance activity. A lot of folks are. We're seeing a variety of things. We're seeing folks refinance to get out of PMI. We're seeing them refinance to move from a shorter term, into a shorter term loan, from a 30 to a 15 or a 30 to a 20. We have folks that are doing debt consolidation, rolling other financing into one payment at a very low rate. So it's happening for sure. So it's if a person hasn't looked at it either from a refinance standpoint or from a home purchase standpoint, it's definitely worth the conversation. This is going to be an opportunity that might not come around again for quite some time, for sure.
Yeah, it's been several years since we've, as you said, seen interest rates this low. Wouldn't it be nice if it shook a lot of those sellers who have been reluctant to sell because my interest rate on my current house is this. Why would I move to a house and get a higher interest rate and have a higher payment? I'm perfectly happy to stay where I'm at. So maybe, just maybe, with the interest rates where they are, it shakes some sellers loose of holding on to that house because of the low payment that they have, and maybe says to them, you know what? You should start looking.
Yeah.
Interest rates are really low. We should jump. We should definitely put the house up this year, get it ready, and jump.
I think so too, John. And you bring up a good point. When we need more inventory, for one thing, there's not enough homes on the market for sale to satisfy all the buyers. And when you're talking to sellers, they come up with a litany of objections as to maybe why they don't want to sell. And a valid reason for a long period of time was, I currently have a really, really good interest rate. Why would I want to sell and take on financing that's more expensive? Well, now not only are they not going to be in a higher interest rate with taking on a new loan when they purchase a home, they're going to be a much more attractive interest rate than what they left. So not only can they improve their living situation and maybe move into the home that they were looking for, but their financing is going to cost them less too. So absolutely something for sellers to think about, and whether this helps the inventory unwind a little bit and grow. So that the buyers that are out there can buy, I don't know, but it certainly removes one of the objections that a seller might have.
Yeah, that's a good thing. So I would say, based on that, if inventory stays low, we're going to have a seller's market again.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that the lower interest rates will shake sellers out who've been kind of hanging on, and we'll have a more of a balanced market. There's homes that'll sell quickly, but obviously the people that are selling, they have to have a place to go. So if you got the entry level looking to buy into the next level, and those people need to go somewhere, so maybe they're downsizing. If they've got nowhere to go, there's no incentive for them to sell.
There is
So
some gridlock.
we
yeah.
really need all segments to hopefully cooperate at the same time, and people who want to move up and people that want to downsize and maybe move to another area.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're all seeing this as a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I mean, folks are, they've got newfound and restored equity, right? Especially if they've owned the home for a period of time that crossed over the recession when folks lost a lot of value. It's back. I think we're certainly back to pre-recession levels, and probably in some markets we've exceeded that. Is that safe to say?
Yep.
So it is an opportunity. Folks can reap the rewards of having all that benefit and or all that equity that came back as the market improved, and purchase a new home with really, really inexpensive financing. So, yeah, time for them to call us, I think, huh?
I would agree.
For sure.
Call us whether you're looking to buy or sell.
Yeah.
And before we go, Scott, sorry, buddy. It's not your fault.
Poor Scott.
It was actually my first time having him help me make accommodations. The hotel that I did stay at in Burbank was top notch. They had great breakfast, and the rental car that he set up too for me. When I went there, he was telling me, he said, "It looks like we got a pickup truck there." I said, "Pickup truck? I don't drive trucks. I hate trucks. I'll never drive a truck." But he said, "Well, it's the least expensive one." So I showed up there, and they said, "All right, you're all set. Go pick any full-size vehicle you want."
Wow, really?
Yeah, so I ended up in a Ford Fusion.
Okay.
Love the Fusion.
Wow, great.
It is such a cool car. The technology that car has is great. Push-button start. I paired it with my phone real easily. The only thing it didn't have, and it's a little bit of a bummer, is most Fords they don't have the electronic steering wheel. They have the pull down and pull out, the telescoping, but it's manual telescoping. It gets a little frustrating. You pull it out and down where it's comfortable, and you lock it in, and then you go to get out, and you bang your leg as you're trying to get out. So, every once in a while, I'll have those look like rope burns across your thigh because you're dragging it across the steering wheel. But other than that, Scott, good job on the car, good job on the hotel. But next time, let's see if we can get some extra row aisle seat accommodations for me for my leg space, please. But I appreciate the job. You did a good job. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to Avoiding Real Estate Turbulence. If you'd be so kind to subscribe and review and rate, we would appreciate it. Please share with your friends, family, and coworkers that they too can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and AvoidingRET.com, where you'll find our contact information and every episode. You can also find us on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and Spotify.